Hello there, this is TP8017, and today I'll be having a look at some games that came out in November 2025. This one is Demons, FMVs, and Chilling with Cats. Now, my apologies for the very late nature of this one. I'm going to start working on the December one very shortly after recording this to catch up. So yes. So we're looking at 17 games this time. So a decent little selection here. So that's what we're looking at, and let's get started, shall we? First up, we have Queue Up by Everybody House Games. Now, this is a combination of auto battler, coin flipper, and esports parody. It's quite a bit deeper than it first appears. It's a very interesting little thing. So let's have a look. So that's Queue Up, available for Windows and Mac, $9.99 US. System requirements are Windows 7, 8, 10 or 11, Intel Core i3, 1GB RAM, OpenGL 2.1 capable GPU, and 2GB of free space. So yeah, not too bad. On the Mac side, macOS 11 Big Sur, Intel or Apple CPU, 1GB RAM, 4GB GPU, and 2GB of free space. So that's that one. Let's continue. Foolish Mortals by Inklingwood Studios. This is a voice-acted point-and-click adventure set in 1930s Louisiana. Explore Bellamore Manor and discover what happened to the wedding party 30 years ago, and of course where the missing treasure is. So let's have a look.
Louisiana, 1933, the island of Devil's Rock. 33 years ago, an entire wedding vanished here, and with it went the location of the lost treasure of Belmore Manor. I just wanted to find it. But to find a location known only to the dead, I had no choice but to ask them. Gather the 7 ingredients on the voodoo manuscript. That didn't sound too hard. Until I released a household of ghosts who will stop at nothing to reach the treasure before I do.
Get out.
Now I'm trapped on an island filled with crumbling crypts, voodoo vaults, and the mysterious manor itself. In a supernatural battle that spans both life and death. More to this story than I could have ever expected. What made the wedding disappear all those years ago? Is the lost treasure even what I think it is? To find out, I might have to die too. Foolish mortals.
That one is a Kickstarter one, I believe. So available for Windows Mac, $19.99 US. System requirements: Windows 7, 1.8 GHz CPU, 2 GB RAM, 512MB GPU with OpenGL2 support, and 8 GB of free space. On the Mac side, Mac OS X 10.7 Lion, 2 GHz dual-core CPU, 2 GB RAM, same with the GPU, 512MB with OpenGL2 support, and 8 GB of free space. So you should only really have to worry about the 8 GB of free space. Well, let's continue. Dogwitch by Heckmouse. This is a roguelite deck builder about magical Dogwitch that can power her spells using enchanted dice to summon minions and combine spells together, as well as having different hats to wear, artifacts to collect, all that kind of thing. So let's have a look. It's a bit of a quirky little one, this one.
A sketchy wizard's potion turned you into the Dog Witch. Part canine, part spell slinger, all trouble. And that wizard? Now he's tearing up the kingdom trying to take you down. So it's up to you to show him who's the leader of the pack. Perfect. Roll your dice, cast your spells, and unleash chaos in bite-sized roguelike runs. Discover over 100 magical items, plus their darker, corrupted twins. Each one adding new synergy and combos to fetch victory your way. Face off against frog kings, a paranoid beehive, angry cat ladies, and gun-wielding Russian dolls? Whoa! Need backup? Summon laser ponies, gun-toting rats, and skeleton sidekicks. Because the only thing better than one dog witch is a whole pack of magical friends. Take down Madmaster Wiz himself, and maybe give him a bite where it hurts. After all, you're not just any old spellcaster. You're the Dog Witch. So, who's a good doggy?
Yes, a bit of a different little one, that one. Windows and Mac, $9.79 US. System requirements: Windows 7, 8 or 10, Intel Core i3 at 3 GHz, 4 GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1030, and 1 GB of free space. Really, no, you shouldn't have to worry about it, to be honest. So, on the Mac side, Mac OS X 10.7 Lion, 1.3 GHz CPU, 1 GB RAM, GPU, and free space. And yes, so you shouldn't have any trouble running it at all. Right, next up we have Vedal by Asobism Co. Limited. This is a colourful roguelike deck builder, auto battler set in the underworld. Collect and combine jewels to enhance your characters and unlock new skills as you explore the dungeons. Bit of an interesting little thing, this one. So let's have a look.
Oh, that's nice.
Bit louder than I thought. And even turned down to about 80%. Anyway, so platforms: Windows Mac, $19.99 US. System requirements: Windows 10, 64-bit, Intel Core i5 8400, 8 GB RAM, Intel UHD graphics 630, and 2 GB of free space. So yes, not too bad. On the Mac side, macOS 10.14 Mojave, Apple M1 CPU or an Intel Core i5, 8GB RAM, Apple M1 or Intel Iris Plus graphics, and 2GB of free space. So, yeah, interesting little one. So, let's keep going. Z.A.T.O, I Love the World and Everything in It by Ferry Nopanamaman. I think I butchered that. It's a science fiction dystopian horror story about a missing girl and finding a place in the world. Reviews praise it, but there's some strong language in it, and it'll hit some people pretty hard. I mean, I didn't think I'd be very good at playing it, but let's have a look. Yes, so Windows, Mac, Linux. This one's a freebie. System requirements: Windows 7 64-bit or Ubuntu 18.04 or equivalent. Intel or AMD dual-core processor, 2 GB RAM. Integrated GPU with OpenGL2 support, and 400 MB of free space. You shouldn't have any trouble running it. Mac side: macOS 10.13 Mojave. Apple or Intel CPU, 2 GB RAM, OpenGL2 compatible GPU, and 400 MB of free space. So let's keep going. Hymer 2000 by doBell. This is a text-based puzzle game between you and the computer, discovering clues as to what happened with the facility and the secret that Hymer itself is guarding before shutting it down. It's a bit of a shorter game, and it's a bit of a tearjerker actually, going by the reviews. So let's have a look. So that one's on a few different platforms: Windows, Mac, PS4, PS5 and Switch, $4.99 US. System requirements: Windows 10 64-bit, Intel Core i3 processor, 1 GB RAM, DirectX 11 capable GPU, and 500 MB of free space. You shouldn't have any trouble running it. Similar on the Mac side: Mac OS X 10.6 Sloth, Apple M1 CPU, no Intel, 1 GB of RAM, and 500 MB of free space. Chill With You, Li-Fi Story by Nestopi Inc. This is more of a utility rather than a game, but it's reviewed pretty well. So this is a work-focused program where you work alongside Satoni, the rather nice headphone-wearing girl there, with a variety of original music to have playing, as well as superior sound and weather effects to turn on and off, as well as a timer. Like I said, it's received quite a good amount of positive reviews, so let's have a look.
これでいいのかな? よし、やるぞ。休憩だね。やっぱ作業通話ってはかどるね。
So that is Chill With You, Lo-Fi Story, available for Windows Mac, $11.99 US. System requirements are Windows 10 or 11, Intel Core i5 7400, 8GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, GPU, and 5GB of free space. On the Mac side, macOS 14 Sonoma, Apple M1 CPU, 8GB of RAM, and I'd assume pretty similar for GPU and free space. So, yes, let's continue on. New Sparrow by Sparrow. So this one's entered left early access in November. Create and manage your own newspaper set in the 1930s, picking what topics and headlines to cover and what to downplay, as well as keeping various other interests happy, of course. You know, things like the mayor, the mafia, all the happy kind of subjects. So let's have a look, shall we?
The 1930s, the Great Depression, Prohibition, and the rise of fascism in Europe, pushing the world to the brink of war.
What a time to own a newspaper. Run your printing operations efficiently with state-of-the-art machinery. Treat your staff to the very best working environment. Have your own editorial line. Hard-hitting journalism, or sensational headline-grabbing gossip. It's all on your plate. There's no room for conflicts of interest in our noble profession. And remember to welcome competition with open arms. Start your news empire today and decide what tomorrow's scoop will be.
So, available for Windows Mac, $24.99 US. System requirements, Windows 7 64-bit, Intel Core i3 6100 or an AMD FX 4350, 8GB RAM, discrete GPU with 1 GB of memory, and 3GB of free space. So, you shouldn't have any trouble yet. On the Mac side, macOS 10.15 Catalina, dual core 2GHz CPU, 8GB RAM, discrete GPU with 1GB of memory, and 3GB of free space. So, yes, you shouldn't have any trouble yet. Let's keep going. Kingdoms of the Dump, I should say, by Roach Games and Dream Sloth Games. This is a epic turn-based RPG featuring a talking trash can and its quest across the various regions of the dump, with a variety of strange enemies to encounter. The bosses here are actually done by, I had his name, the guy who did, I should know it, Look Outside, yes, so. I should know that because I've been listening to that pretty much all last year, so. Yeah, so it's about 30 hours, I think. Yeah, it's received quite a few positive reviews. A bit of criticism about near the end though, so let's have a look anyway. Yes, very pretty one, that one. Sorry, Windows Mac Linux, $19.99 US. Windows 7 64-bit or any Linux distribution. 4GB RAM. OpenGL 2.1 capable graphics card, such as a NVIDIA GeForce 6200, which is pretty ancient by this point. And yes, space isn't mentioned though. On the Mac side, macOS, I think I made a mistake there, but macOS, Big Sur, 4GB of RAM, and yeah, so you shouldn't have any trouble on it. Let's get going. Replicat by Brainoid Games. This is a roguelike deck builder memory game with over 90 different cards, 21 different levels, as well as boss battles, as well as quite a few different cats. So let's have a look. First time I've actually had a short as a trailer, but yeah, anyway. Platforms, Windows Mac Linux, $9.99 US. System requirements, Windows 10 or 11 or Ubuntu 18.04. Intel Core i3 processor, 1GB RAM, 1GB per GPU with OpenGL2 support, and 300 megabytes of free space. Basically, if you can watch this video, you're able to run it. On the Mac side, macOS 10.14 Mojave, Apple M1 CPU, 1GB RAM, 1GB for GPU with OpenGL2 support, and 300 megabytes of free space. Demonschool by Necrosoft Games, a tactical RPG where you have to go to university on a mysterious island and take on various demons that are trying to invade the world. You can also complete side quests, interact with your party members. This is a bit of a longer title at over 30 hours, but it's nice to see the more in-depth games that make him popping up. So let's have a look. So this one's available on a fair few platforms: Windows, Mac, Linux, PS4 and PS5, Xbox One and Xbox X and S, and the Switch. $24.99 US. System requirements: Windows 10 64-bit or Ubuntu 22.04 LTS or SteamOS 3. Dual-core 2.4 GHz CPU, 4 GB RAM, 1 GB for GPU with DirectX 11 or OpenGL 3.2 support, and 2 GB of free space. Next side, macOS 12 Monterey, dual-core 2.4 GHz processor, 4 GB RAM, metal-capable GPU, and 2 GB of free space. So you shouldn't have any trouble on it. Organised inside by Meox Studio. I think I got that right the first try. This is a point-and-click puzzle/organisation game about life, love, and cats. It's a bit of a shorter one, but ideal for a bit of a relaxing playthrough, a bit of a chill stream or something like that. So let's have a look. So that one's for Windows and Mac, $7.99 US. System requirements: Windows 7 Service Pack 1, CPU with Z.A.T.O instruction support, and a DirectX 10 capable GPU. So basically, you can watch this video, you're able to play it. MacOS 10.15 Catalina, and an Apple or Intel CPU. Mandate of Heaven by Manu Studio / Manu Yuan Studio. This is probably one of the more impressive ones we've seen. This is a alternate history 4-motion video title set in Imperial Japan, so about the 1200s. Set across 8 chapters with over 600 minutes of footage, with a variety of paths and endings. So, yes, they've been working on it for a fair while, about 6 years I believe, probably even longer. So let's have a look. Yeah, I've never seen a FMV game that long before. So, Windows Mac Linux, now $14.99 US. System requirements: Windows 10 64-bit or Ubuntu 22.04, Intel Core i3 or an AMD equivalent, 6GB of RAM, now 49GB of free space, so it's a bit of a larger one. On the next side, macOS 15 Sequoia, Apple or Intel CPU, 8GB of RAM, and 49GB of free space. So, yes. Now, that's the first Chinese FMV I'm covering this month. Next one is coming a bit later. So, Feign by Teneke Kafalar, in the style of werewolf or mafia. Try to figure out who the imposter is and who the other roles are. And, before everyone gets killed, sports up to 12 players. So, let's have a look.
What is Feign? Feign is about players who are struggling to survive in a town. It is a role-playing game that can be played with up to 12 people. There are indeed different classes: innocents, imposters, and neutrals. And these classes also have different purposes. Innocents. Try to gather information using your role at night time. Find the killer in the morning with the information you gathered. Imposters! Kill villagers at night or send them from the village during the day. Be careful. If it becomes clear that you're a traitor, you will be the one voted out! Neutrals. You are neither innocent nor imposter. You have your own goals. Play for any side you want to win. Unique role exclusive to Feign. Insane! Apart all from these, we have a unique role exclusive to Feign. Insane is an innocent role, but it is dangerous for the innocents. You don't understand it when you're insane, just like when you're down. It comes under disguise of other innocent roles, like doctor or investigator. If you're insane, you might think that you're an investigator and give false information of other people. Maybe all innocents were killed because of you. What if you're insane?
So that's Feign. The man there enjoys his work. So platforms: Windows and Mac, $4.99 US. System requirements: Windows 7 Service Pack 1, CPU with SSE2 support, DirectX 10 capable GPU, and 800 megabytes free space. So yeah, you should be able to run on anything. Sorry, on the Mac side, Apple M1 or Intel Core M CPU, 8 gigabytes RAM. I don't know about the DirectX 10 capable GPU on the Mac side, and 800 megabytes of free space. So yeah, shouldn't have any trouble in it. Next up, The Invisible Us by Mystery Crown and Fire Lizard Culture. Now, this one I don't have a trailer for. This is a FMV mystery game where the bullied main character is helped by a female classmate, only to have a series of strange events start to happen across the city. It's more of a mystery deduction kind of one. So yes. So it's available for Windows and Mac, $6.99 US. System requirements are Windows 10 64-bit, Intel Core i3, 4 GB RAM, 20 gigabytes of free space. On the Mac side, macOS 10.13 High 0, Intel Core i3 CPU, 4 GB RAM, and I'd say 20 gigabytes of free space. Keeping on going, Abandoned Archive by Vedal, the one who's controlled by Neuro. So choose from a variety of magic in the spellcasting roguelike as you descend the Tower of Turim, discovering relics and finding the secrets of the old boys scattered throughout. So let's have a look. So that's Abandoned Archive, Windows, Mac, Linux, $5.99 US. System requirements are Windows 7 or Ubuntu 12.04. Have a CPU, 4 GB RAM, integrated GPU, and 2 GB of free space. On the next side, Mac OS X 10.6 sign-up, Apple or Intel CPU, 4 GB RAM, and 2 GB of free space. You shouldn't have any trouble writing it. Killer Chat Original Edition by roserot. Now, always find weird games to cover on these, and this one is. So this is a dating simulator with some lovely, well-mannered and attractive men and women to meet. They're also serial killers. There's 8 different endings with it, so yeah, maybe you can fix some of them, but probably not. Yeah, serial killers. Yeah, this is a free one. There's a expanded version coming out at some point this year, 2026. So let's have a look.
Isn't that something you want?
So, yes, Windows, Mac, Linux. The original edition is free on Steam. System requirements are Windows 7 or higher, or Ubuntu 16.04. 64-bit Intel compatible CPU, 300 megabytes of free space. OpenGL 3.0 capable GPU, and 300 megabytes of of RAM and free space. So you should be able to run it on anything. On the Mac side, Mac OS X 10.10 Yosemite, Apple M1 or Intel CPU, 300 megabytes of RAM, 300 megabytes of free space. So that's it for November's edition. Thank you for watching. Links are in the description, and I'll see you next time.